I'm Ross McIntosh. I played viola in NYO-U during the summer of 2017, and I'm from Laramie, Wyoming, where I'll be pursuing an undergraduate in viola performance this fall. One fun fact about myself is that I've just finished my 4th year of playing the viola. Since I started playing the viola later than most people, I had a lot of catching up to do if I wanted to play in a group anywhere near as amazing as NYO-U is. So in this video, I'm going to share a couple really great practice techniques that help me advance pretty quickly on playing the viola. Step 1 is to practice deliberately. If you really want to get good at something, you have to know how to practice it. I bet that if you even chose to watch this video, it means you have a pretty good idea of how to practice already, but I'm sure there's always something that seems like you just can't play it. I definitely used to think I knew exactly what I was doing in the practice room, and the hard spots that seemed ridiculously unplayable were just supposed to be that way. But as I branched out more and more and started to take the viola more and more seriously, I realized that it was just because I didn't completely know how to practice correctly. This was about after my 2nd year of study with a really good teacher. So all the teachers at this camp I went to for a couple of years really stressed the idea of deliberate practice, which is something that my own teacher at home had told me, but being from a small town in the middle of nowhere, I really had no perspective as to what the outside world was like and how important deliberate practice really is. After my 2nd year at this camp, I improved a lot, which seemed crazy to me. It was great, but it was because I learned how to practice a bit better. Step 2 is to aim for understanding. If you don't get why you just can't play the one spot in whatever it is you're working on, or it's not up at the same level as the rest of the piece, you can't expect to know how to correct it. The first step in trying to practice something you can't get, doesn't matter even how fast or slow it is trying to understand why you can't play it. Maybe at first you think you've got the reason, and that's great, but then through trial and error you'll figure out that that's actually something else. This is exactly what you want. Don't be discouraged if you don't get it right away or if you make a mistake. Once you've found what you think the problem is, or even if you haven't, just try to practice it all of the following ways and you'll have a really good shot at getting it better. First, try practicing it in a dotted rhythm. This is really helpful, and if you make a couple mistakes, just start over until you can get it and really play it through well, slowly. After this, try playing it in the original rhythm, way under tempo, perfectly. Again, try 10 times through with no mistakes. Once you can do that, you'll have a really solid foundation. Now, assuming you can kind of get the hang of it playing it those 2 ways, try it in a reverse dotted rhythm or a Scotch snap. Hopefully this will be hard, and I'll explain why in a minute. Before, I just said that hopefully this is really hard. And that's because learning occurs in the same part of the brain as problem solving. So that means if you really want to learn something and get better at it, you have to be challenged by it. Otherwise, if you can already play it well, you're not going to learn anything. This is called desirable difficulty, and psychologists have called it that for decades, not just because they've been trying to figure out what makes a musician tick, but because it applies to literally everything there is. It might be easier for you to pick up a word in a day than it is for baby. But that's because you've been practicing speaking and reading and writing your entire life. This is why if somebody says a foreign word to you and tells you what it means, you can pick it up and the baby won't. So after years and years and years of speaking and reading and writing in a language, you've learned how to do it well and correctly. This is because you've built the correct neural pathways which allow you to do this. This process is called myelination. So every time you play that difficult passage wrong, you're building the wrong neural pathway. So this means you can play it exactly wrong every time, which is not what you want. This is why it is so incredibly easy to make a mistake and play something wrong a lot. The opposite is really hard. It's problem solving. So with that in mind, here are a couple more techniques that are super useful to any good musician. The fourth way is to practice it in groupings of different notes, like 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, etc. This is especially useful for fast passages. Next, and this one is mostly for string players, is pausing what you're playing at every string crossing. The sixth way is to add in one note at a time, note by note. Another really good way to do this is to use sequences of numbers to practice it. So like groups of 2 notes, or 5, or 7 even, but hopefully you can build it up from smaller to larger. Next, you can pick a series of notes and play through it forwards, and then backwards. And then add in some more notes forwards, and then do it backwards again. Finally, make up your own methods of practice. Change up the notes, change up the rhythms, that sort of thing, because you know your brain best, and you know what will be hardest for you. Overall, the idea is to plan, do, repeat. So come up with a plan, so pick a hard spot, do it, which is playing it any number of the ways I said, and repeat it so that you build the correct neural pathways. Thanks for watching this NYO-U mini masterclass. Don't forget to hit the button below and subscribe, and I hope you can get out there and start practicing even better now. I'm Ross McIntosh. Till next time.